Today's conference has been all about putting the customer at the heart of the growth agenda, looking at ways in which financial services actually supports the wider economy and can help people save more, save better, access finance in ways that they need to, and also help small and medium-sized firms access capital to grow their business in the way that they want to. We've been looking a lot at how Europe's Capital Markets Union is going to develop, and a big discussion there about how really it's for financial services to prove that we can power Europe's economy, creating jobs and growth across every European member state. That's really great news for the city because, of course, our expertise is not only recognised across the whole of the UK and Europe, but internationally. So we can continue to be a magnet to attract trade and investment here in the UK and around Europe.
The Fair and Effective Markets Review was set up by the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the Governor of the Bank of England and the Martin Wheatley of the Financial Conduct Authority, following a series of serious misconduct issues in FIC markets, that's fixed income, currency and commodity markets. And they did it because they wanted to see what steps were necessary, either structural or conduct, to raise the standards of fairness and effectiveness in the markets.
Technology is changing financial services and related professional services in a whole host of ways. Financial services has actually always been an industry affected by technology, but the rate of change is increasing because more people are able to play in markets. The markets are no longer closed. It means more opportunities for providers, but it means more choice for customers.
Consumers have a lot of challenges when dealing with financial services companies. They need to work out what they want. They need to work out how to get it, who to trust, who's going to do a good job for them, and then they need to understand it when they've got it.
There are over 2 million people who work in financial and related professional services here in the UK. And actually 2/3 of those are outside of the M25. This is a national industry. And we're at our best when we have customers at the heart of what we do over the long term. And it's really by creating jobs around the whole of the UK that we demonstrate that we can be at our best. In financial services, we have got major clusters of employment, not only here in the city where people think, but actually in places like Bournemouth. JP Morgan is the largest private sector employer in Dorset. Citibank is huge in Belfast. Bank of New York Mellon, substantial employer in Manchester, as is Deutsche Bank in Birmingham. So looking across the whole of the UK, what I see are financial and professional services jobs, creating centres of excellence, and that creates other jobs across the whole of the UK.
These are large wholesale markets and it was a wholesale review. So sometimes people think they don't affect consumers, but actually they do. There is over $100 trillion of debt in the world at the moment, and we have 5 trillion of FX currency transactions every day, and a lot of that happens here in the UK. And those transactions underpin things like mortgage rates, your foreign currency when you go on holiday, and the price of goods that you're buying in terms of raw materials.
Hopefully customers will be the main beneficiaries of innovation in financial services. It's really what it's all about. And there's a whole swathe of ways in which you can imagine that happening. Better data will mean better decisions on lending, better access to information to help you budget. The Internet of Things, what might that do? Well, what if your car lease wasn't just based on how long you'd owned the car, but based on how well you drove it, how far you drove it? Or if you're a company whose machines can tell you and your bank how they're operating. These are all the kind of things which can make lending more available, can make protection more available, and also can help with savings and borrowing as well.
Financial services firms can improve consumer confidence by providing products and services that they need, that they can understand and that do what they say on the tin, and they can stop behaving badly.
There's a huge challenge in getting control of the technology and competing effectively with disruptors. At the same time, there's a challenge of managing the transition to the new world of regulation and the capital associated with it.
First of all, the regulator needs to understand competition and what drives competition. Financial services is not baked beans. It's very complicated, so they need to understand whether the supply side or the demand side are things to work on. We know what doesn't work. Too much disclosure doesn't work. New entry maybe might work a little bit, but the important thing is the regulator understands competition in this market.
Well, people have been talking about reform very generally. People throw the word around and it means different things to different people. What we were very keen to do today was to set out very detailed recommendations as to how we think the EU could be made to work better. The report's been produced by a wide variety of people in the city, and of course that's French, German, Italian, Spanish, Italian colleagues, as well as sort of British colleagues. There's 25 very detailed items. We believe that all of them can be implemented quickly and effectively, and we're hoping very much that as the negotiations proceed over the next 6 months, this will be the reference point which the negotiators use on behalf of the city. Basically, it's to make it work better. They're very detailed. It's making sure that regulation does what it should do. There's not too much of it. Of course, it reinforces the single market. With 500 million people on our doorstep, why wouldn't we want to be part of that? Why wouldn't those 500 million people want it to work better? So each proposal is very specifically aimed at that.
Allianz and Allianz Global Investors decided to join the City UK right from the beginning because we saw there were huge benefits of being part of an industry-wide grouping that was forward-looking and thinking about how to engage constructively with governments and policymakers, not just here at home but also around the world. And they've stuck to that agenda. We're pleased.
Oliver Wyman's been a member of City UK since the very beginning. I was a founding director of City UK and still sit on the board. And I think that the role City UK plays in bringing the views of the industry to regulators and to government, and that crucial convening power is hugely valuable. Moreover, the work we do on both international and domestic promotion has helped Oliver Wyman meet clients and build our business.
Well, City UK provides us with a good platform to mount EU-wide dialogue. It's one of our great challenges to have a meaningful dialogue with Brussels, and the City UK is very helpful in that context.
The next 12 months for the City UK is going to be a hugely important time in our agenda. We've not only got developments around proposals for EU reform, and indeed we're launching a detailed manifesto for EU reform at the moment, but we're also doing a substantial piece of work around Capital Markets Union, demonstrating how financial services can help spread jobs and growth across the whole of Europe. Here in the UK, we've just had a change of government, and actually we're working very closely with the current government on areas such as infrastructure investment, on regional policy, all designed to help boost the UK economy. And central to our message is the ability to attract in foreign direct investment into the UK. Financial services attracts more foreign direct investment than any other industry, and that helps create jobs here in the UK. As those major employers arrive, they create jobs across every town and city in the country. So here at the City UK, we've got a busy agenda looking at working with this government across the UK. We've got the EU reform project, and internationally we're doing major work in India, in China, and also on the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, TTIP. And that's going to give the European economy a huge boost too. So there couldn't wish to be a better time for the City UK.